Hi and good evening. Welcome to this webinar that we have today on a Thursday evening. Thank you for making time. We'll start in about maybe 5 more minutes as more people join in. We'll probably begin at around 7:35-ish. We have people joining in. Meanwhile, those people who've joined in, they can drop in the chat section where are they from, so that it'll be interesting to know which part of the country or which part of the world are you joining us from. You can drop in your location in the chat section. Okay, Prem from Gujarat. So I see Gujarat has a lot of students moving from Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Surat, preferring to go to Canada. There is Ashish from Delhi. Hi. Naman from Jodhpur. Silvassa. Silvassa is in Assam, if I'm not wrong. All right. More people have joined. People who are joining in new, please keep dropping the location that you are from in the chat section of the window. Shashi from Hyderabad. Where will we find the recording of the webinar? We'll share it. We'll share it, Naman. It'll land up right in your inbox. Oh, thank you, Mariam, for clarifying that. It's a union territory, right? Mumbai. Right, we have people coming from all parts of the country. I mean, data on GradRight really shows that a lot of students from the northern side of India, from the west of India, choose Canada as a destination. We see that southern states typically, AP and Telangana, moving to choosing US as a destination. But again, in Bangalore, say Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, we do see a lot of students choosing Canada as well. But a lot of students from North and the West is what we often see choosing Canada as a destination. All right. Right. So good evening, everybody. Once again, thank you for joining us. I am Shivani, and with me is Kush Raval. And today you are here for a webinar to understand, your financial aspect of your master's, in Canada. So we have Kush, who's a student right there in Canada doing his master's. We will have a lot of inputs coming from Kush, his journey, and queries around how he went through different goals or different hurdles while he was looking to study his master's in Canada. And later part of the session, we'll keep for lots of questions and answers. That's the best part of the session, I feel. So as a hygiene, all of you all can post your questions in the Q&A part of the window, and any hello, highs, introductions can be kept in the chat section. So yeah, so let's begin the session. Hi, Kush. While I have your introduction, it is best that you introduce yourself, and let everybody know who are we talking to today.
Hi, thank you, Shivani. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. So I did my schooling from back in Nainital. I was in a boarding school, and I did my a whole schooling from 3 to 12th grade, and I was there. And then I had interest towards engineering, so I pursued my undergrad in engineering and computer science from BML Munjal University, Gurgaon. And then during the second year of my engineering, I knew like I had to pursue my master's abroad. So I was realizing where my interest lies, searching for my interest areas. And then I got to know like going towards innovation and connecting my engineering to business was the right path. So I came across this course at Ivy MSc in management with specialization in digital management. And now I applied for that and I'm pursuing it. I'm in the third semester currently, and the fourth semester will start in September, and I'll be done with my graduation in December.
Wow, that was a nice brief about you, Kush, and I'm so happy to hear that in the second year of engineering itself, you started focusing on what you have to do next and having that clarity of thought. So that's great to know. For everyone else, I am Shivani, and I lead the servicing function at GradRight. So all the interactions about your education loan, about your finances will happen with my team, or maybe sometimes I will be there over the call with you. And I come from a background of banking and finance. I've been an underwriter of loans myself for about 10 years. So anything around financing, you can post your question in the Q&A section, and we'll be able to take that query. While Kush will actually take us through, the real journey that he went through, because he's the one who's been there, done that. What better, it's the best to have a student really there answering all of our queries, right? So
I'll just answer one of the questions. Ravija is asking where I'm studying. So I'm studying at Ivy Business School, Western University, and I'm pursuing a master's degree in MSc in management.
Great. So once again, guys, just keep your questions coming in the Q&A section of the Zoom window, right? Now, Kush, you were pursuing your engineering, and then you, sort of wanted to move towards a master's in management, and you chose digital management as your specialization. So help us understand, how did you choose Ivy, or how did you even come to this close a decision? How long did it take you?
So for me, like first thing was to realize where my interest was. So starting with my engineering, like I was pursuing engineering, I was good in my studies. I used to do coding, but I realized that it was not for me. I did not love doing it. I can do it if I'm forced to do it. So I realized where I had to go, and slowly my mind was diverting towards coming up with innovative solutions towards the problems. And wherever in the engineering also, if I had any projects, I used to come up with some innovative ideas towards solving those and working on those. So I realized that something related to innovation and something related to business, connecting business innovation and connecting my technical skills towards it, that was what I wanted to do. So then I started, I reached out to my professors, how I should apply and where I should go. So I had another clarity over there, like I wanted to invest and wanted to play safe. And Canada was the option where I could play safe. And because in Canada, if I spend my resources, I'll be able to also get a PR and settle in the future perspectives. But other than this perspective, I wanted to get into a good university and get a reputed degree. So I started with seeing the rankings of the universities in Canada, top universities, making an Excel sheet. And from all those universities, I used to take out all the courses which are of interest to me, put it in the Excel sheet. And I went through all of it. It was a long procedure. It started maybe in August 2019, and I had to apply by August 2020. So 1 year down the line. And I shortlisted the universities, the courses, and I went through this entire procedure of skimming through it. and then coming to a short list of universities of around 5 to 8. And then I asked my professor how I should like target and get into this university and highlight my profile. So they were like, go ahead, write some research papers and do something around that. And that was very new for me. I did not know how to even write a research paper. But under their guidance, like I started working on it. I wrote 2 research papers, which were published. I filed for 1 patent. All these were in the field of innovation. And I had my shortlisted universities. I started applying for them. And maybe that was the background work I did. And those that then I worked on my resumes and the SOPs and all these questions and answers which had to be prepared. Everything I got aligned towards these universities. And I also was targeting McMaster University, but I did not get into that. I targeted Ryerson University, which was a moderate choice for me. I got into that. Then after I got an admit from Ivy, so that was an ambitious choice for me, but I got over here and that's how I chose Ivy.
Great, Kush. So before we move on to knowing more about it, Shikhar, could you please introduce the first poll? We'd like to understand what kind of an audience are we looking at? How many of them have admits? How many of them are waiting yet? What program are they going for? And what is the biggest challenge? Folks, this will help us understand the audience that we are looking at, and maybe we can customize our content here basis, these answers. So, all right, as people still attempt the poll. Yes, Prem, you can answer that in the poll. But Kush, so 2019 is when you started applying, and were you able to make it into 2020? Because that was the year when COVID break in. And
yeah, so I was able to secure an admission around December 2020. Yeah, no, December, around December 2019, I think. That's the time I was able to secure an admission. And the COVID break happened around March
2020.
So, yeah, so I had already had the admission offer in my hand. So it was going forward, like, will it be online or offline? Everything was very hazy and all that. So I decided to get a defer for it. And I was lucky enough to get a deferral because they were like not allowing for it, but I got a deferral and then I joined in 2021.
Great. So September 2021 is when you started the course. Now you chose a university, Kush. Canada also seems to have a lot of colleges, right? N number of colleges. I see about 200 colleges are actually ranked with banks very well, right? So, would you be able to quickly brief us on what is the difference between pursuing a master's from a university in Canada versus a master's from a college in Canada?
Okay, so like there are 2 paths which a student generally follows. So like some students just have a goal in mind to come to Canada and settle over here, get a PR and start working. That's the person who basically chooses colleges over universities. And there's another set of students who wants a good degree and also want to settle in Canada and get a PR and all that stuff. So that's the audience which targets the universities. So the major difference is that the name of the university plays a major role. So like if you start in colleges and you want a white collar job, you will go ahead and start with around $50,000 per annum, or maybe less, or maybe maximum of 55 or 60 if you are lucky enough. But if you start with universities, you would land a job of 60 plus and ranging to $100,000. So that's the difference. And you have to do a lot of networking over here in order to secure a job. And if you have a reputed university name in your resume, your file is already highlighted. So that's a major difference. And also the alumni network which works over here. Good universities have a reputed alumni network and vast network over here, and you can like connect to people from any companies. Your alumni will be there. So that's basically the major difference.
All right. And I mean, I would just want to add to that, universities provide a degree program and colleges have diploma programs.
Right.
Now, is the, okay, before I again step into that, Shikhar, quickly, could you share the poll results with us? So we have, we have, almost 43% students waiting for a decision, about 57% who are still into the shortlisting phase. So I'm assuming this shortlisting, those who are in shortlisting phase are looking at intakes post Jan 23. And this is very interesting. This audience has a good mix between STEM, management, and other courses. Whereas yesterday, when we were doing the masters in US webinar, we saw clearly there was a 80% audience looking to go for STEM programs. All right, and good to know 7% audience is financially sorted already. So that's very good, but the first two, not enough money, 57% not enough money, and 36% no proper guidance on financing. This webinar definitely is going to make sense for you. And FundRight all the more will make sense, because this is the audience that we are actually targeting. This is the audience that we actually service on a day in, day out basis. FundRight is the funding platform for GradRight, and you get to choose between 13 banks, 13 lending options for your profile. It's a completely do-it-yourself platform. So if you are even shortlisting and you want to just check an eligibility, will I be able to arrange finances? What kind of options am I looking at? You are good to use this platform to do an eligibility check. And if you're ready with your admit, or you are awaiting decisions, you have your test scores, you can actually start your loan process with these banks. The earlier you start the loan process, this entire master's journey, the earlier you start, the more savings you can make. At every single step, there is some money that you save, right? So this is a do-it-yourself platform, guys. Please go use the link. Shikhar, if you can drop the link. And while it is a do-it-yourself platform, you will definitely be helped by an advisor. Every student will have an advisor where you can ask all sorts of queries, which the bank may not be able to answer because they are always running short of time. And they're good at sales, but not very good at sharing their negatives. So this advisor will keep you aware of all the kinds of costs and charges and the positives and negatives about each option that you avail, and negotiations, all of that will be taken care of by your advisor. All right. Now, Kush, we were on university versus college. So universities provide degree programs, colleges provide diploma programs. Can you tell us what are the kinds of post-study work permits that students can look for, degree versus a diploma, or duration of the course? How is it linked?
So both for the work permit, both degrees and diplomas are considered equally. But there is this duration over here in Canada. So if you have a 1-year program, you get a 1-year work permit. But if it's an 8-month program, you get an 8-month work permit. But if it's 2 years program, so it's based on the duration. So if it's 2 years program, you get a 3 years work permit. But there is this also another thing, like if you have a 16 months program, all the 16 months program over here are considered as accelerated programs. So 16 months program, you get a 3-year work permit as well. So if you are targeting for a 3-year work permit, go for a 16 months program or more.
Great. So that's a very good point, because I see a lot of students choosing short-term programs, say 1 year or 8-month certificate programs. And then, because that's too short a time to actually pursue your career in Canada, the next year they end up enrolling into another program, and then funding sort of becomes a problem, right? So folks, very, very important takeaway. If you're looking at Canada as a destination, and if you want to pursue a career in Canada, go for programs which are, the 2-year programs, or like Kush said, 16 months accelerated programs, because that will lead to a 3-year work a permit or a post-study, right? And also somehow it does play positively even in your visa application, right? Because they typically look at you as a student who's serious, genuine about going to Canada, pursuing their education interests, and whatever happens thereafter is decided by what you study in Canada and why you're going there exactly, right? Kush, how expensive is studying in Canada when it comes to, say, a university or a college?
So it's basically colleges are half the price considering the universities. Like if I am paying for a 16-month program, if I am paying around 70,000 USD, sorry, CAD, 70,000 CAD, a college student will pay around 40,000 CAD for a 16-month program. So this is the major difference. Like it's basically half, and they are like able to work part-time as well, and they can like pay the fees for the semesters they are coming for. And for us, for the universities, is basically difficult, but in the long run, it's the return on investment. You will directly land up in a good job in the starting, in the initial stages only. So that's the difference.
All right, so we're looking at half the cost when it comes to choosing between a university versus a college, but then return on investment is could be much better if you choose a university that is a master's degree program over a diploma program. But then different students may have different choices, or may have different goals to go pursue their higher studies in Canada. Feel free to choose, but a good takeaway is that return on investment really is the point I would say to focus on. Whatever money you spend, how much do you earn over that, right? How quickly can you clear your loan? How quickly can you recover the cost that you invested is what you would want to look at, right? And what is the split between tuition and living, say for Kush, your college? Is it something different for colleges versus universities?
So the living
tuition I understand, but the living part.
So tuition I already told, like there's a huge difference. It's basically half for the college students for who are pursuing diploma, but living is almost the same. Like it's a person's choice how like they want to live. Like if you are living in Canada, suppose in London, like I'm located in London, Ontario. So you can expect, if you want to live, have a room by yourself, then you will be paying around 550 to 700 Canadian dollars for a month. But like if you are like taking a room and splitting it with someone, then you can land up to $300 to $400 as well. So that's majorly around the living expenses, and also considering the groceries and other stuff. So if you are like on a good diet and eating chickens and having a good protein diet as well, you can like range from $250 to $300 monthly, and you can reduce it. Like if you are like seeing your budget and all, you can also come around $200. But if you're like eating outside, then it might increase to $350. So that's pretty much it. So in a total, if you are like living like in a good way, maybe spending good on groceries, you can like spend around $1,000 to $1,200 in a month,
including accommodation.
Including accommodations.
Okay. So 1,000 Canadian dollars. Now, yeah. One very important point that I would like to share with all the students is living expenses in Canada when you apply for the visa are are in the form of GIC, right? You have to declare that you have the funds for opening a GIC account, and you have to do that before you really apply for the visa. Right now, that is an yearly cost of the yearly expenses that you have to show is around 6 lakhs, if I'm not wrong, about
10,000.
11,000 CAD, right? So that is a very, very important part of the visa application for Canada, opening a GIC account, and it has to be opened with a bank which is functional in Canada, right? So say for example, while you have Canadian options like Nova Scotia, in India, you have banks like ICICI and State Bank of India opening GIC accounts, right? So you can choose from a varied number of options. And this is a mandatory part. You have to prove your living expenses for the visa for Canada, right? Now, since we are touching upon the visa part, so this 10,000 CAD is definitely what you will have to have, right? And banks are okay to fund this 10,000 CAD also, these living expenses also. But Kush, what are the various routes via which a student applies for a Canadian visa? Because I've been seeing for the past 4 seasons, from the pre-pandemic days, that the turnaround time for Canadian visas has been like really, really huge. It almost went to up to 27 weeks. And then now it has come down to 11 weeks. And then we also see a lot of rejection coming in, right? So what are the routes which students can take to apply for a visa? Which are the preferred ones? And what is the turnaround time?
Okay, so basically coming to the visa process for Canada, there are 2 paths which a student can follow. One is SDS and another is non-SDS. So basically SDS is a student direct stream. First, I'll highlight the SDS part. So for SDS, you have to pay 1 year of fees upfront of your university or college. And you have to, that's the only difference between SDS and non-SDS, that you have to pay 1 year fees in SDS. And in the SDS, it's a strong profile, because in SDS, you are already showing that you are spending, you have already paid 1 year fees. So the student is going there to study and will not drop off the college or the university and just work over there. So it's a major factor that you are going over there to study and you have already paid the finances. And another is GIC, which you pay 10,000 CAD. And other things, there are other documents. You have to show your IELTS score, and there are documents you have to show your finances, your bank statements. Maybe you can show the property papers or whatever you have. It just should be there. There should be enough material to show to the embassy that I can afford my expenses of living and the tuition over there in Canada. So that's true SDS. And you also, one important thing is the statement of purpose. It should directly state, first of all, it should align with what you had done in the past. Like, this is what I had done, and this is why I'm going to Canada, and this is what I'll be pursuing for my master's or diploma, whatever. And my plan after doing this is to come back to India. That should be stated very clearly, that this is why I'm coming back to India, and this is what I'll do after I have got an education from Canada. So these are the things which have to be considered. And SDS gives you a priority over non-SDS because the turnaround time of the application is also quicker in SDS, and you're showing more finances in SDS. And in non-SDS, it's basically you have to just pay 1 semester fees, and other things are very similar to SDS. And the turnaround time for non-SDS is a little longer than the SDS. So that's major difference.
Great. So, this is something very important that all of you all should know who are looking to study in Canada. Often, if you're dealing with a counselor, they miss to highlight this portion right at the beginning, because you will want to be done with your, sorting your finances at least 3 to 4 months before the program starts, because, you get your loan done. Or you sort your finances, you pay the fees to the college, you get your GIC done, and then with all these proofs, you put in your application for the SDS route of visa, right? And that SDS route of visa, right now it is 11 weeks. It hopefully will come down in the next intake and the future intakes back to 45 to 60 days. But just imagine, if your visa is going to take about 2 months to process, right? then you better be sorted with your financial part of it at least a month prior to applying for the visa, right? So very, very critical. For SDS route, you will be prepaying the 1-year tuition fee and opening a GIC account, putting that proof of GIC account and the proof of tuition paid for 1 year into your visa application, right? So very, very critical that all of it is done at least 3 to 4 months prior to your program start date, right? Because visa TAT is huge. Now, non-SDS students, I remember a phase last year around Jan 21. I remember Canadian Embassy declaring that there is no guarantee for students applying for non-SDS stream, right? So unless you have no option but to apply for the non-SDS stream, more and more prefer the SDS stream because it is favored. You stand out as a more genuine student because you've already prepaid the finances, and the TAT is faster, right? So definitely students who are looking for the March cycle or the May cycle or the September cycle, start your journey for Canadian student visa much early as possible, right? Now,
and I would suggest take the visa process very seriously, because even if, like, I have in the recent days, I have seen students who are going to good universities like University of Toronto and all that, their visa are also getting rejected. It is because you have to focus rightly on the student statement of purpose as to why you are going and why you'll come back. It has to be stated clearly, and the financials should be there. So you should take it very seriously.
Very important point. In fact, I was reading an article which said that the number of applications for Canada are so high, so much of traffic is moving, almost 3 times the traffic as compared to previous years is moving towards Canada, especially students, right? And therefore the rejection rate is also moved up. But the primary reason seen for rejection is because the embassy folks are not convinced with the reason of your of your journey in Canada. They're not convinced that you will come back to your home country. They're not convinced with your domestic ties, right? So that is where the essay, the statement of purpose, becomes very, very critical. Also with that, the more clearly you prove your finances, that makes your application stronger, right? So your SOP and your finances will play a very crucial part in your visa getting approved for Canada, right? Kush, let's take up some questions. I see quite a few that have come through. So Shashi has a question. Are there any public universities in Canada which can give education at low tuition fee?
I think I came across this university, like those universities are not on the top list if you're considering the rankings, but there's this University of Newfoundland and somewhere which is a public university, and you can get a education on very cheap rate. It's very cheap. It's I think 20,000 or 15,000 CAD for the whole tuition. And it's in Nova Scotia, I think. And it is easy to settle and get a PR over there. So there are very few public universities, but they are not too much reputed, but you can go ahead for them if you have plans to settle in Canada. You can target those universities.
Thanks, Kush. Also, Shashi, I'd like to mention that always focus on the return of investment and the ranking of the college first, and then look at finances. Maybe a good student, a deserving student with great academics going to a well-ranked school will not have trouble seeking finances, all right? And also, Germany is a good option when it comes to public universities because tuition is almost nil. But again, Germany as a country, for those who are interested, is good for maybe mechanical sector, automobile sector, and you may have to know German language. But that is one country where the tuition for public universities is almost nil. So those who are typically looking at very low cost education should consider public universities in Germany. But please be aware of your interests, what you want to pursue, right? Okay, let's take the next question. So Tejit has a question, repayment of education loan. So Tejit, I understand that you want to know what are the ways of repaying the education loan. So while there are two kinds of loans that we are looking at. Say there are secured loans and then there are unsecured loans. Secured loans will largely involve putting a collateral. Unsecured ones come without a collateral property, but may want a cosigner, financial cosigner, somebody earning in your family to come and be a part of the loan along with you. Collateral loans from public sector banks, from nationalized banks, will come with a full moratorium, which means you will start paying your EMIs only after your course is done and you have a job. And this period is usually course duration plus 6 months to 1 year, right? 30, if it's a 2-year course, then 30 months or 36 months is after which you will start paying your loan EMIs. For unsecured loans, so loans generally offered by private banks and private non-banking financial companies, are loans where the repayment starts from the very first month, at least in terms of interest, a part of interest that you will pay because the loan is unsecured, right? So this is how the repayment works. But EMIs, installments, will still come up after your course duration is over and you have a job. Having a job doesn't mean you get a job after 2 years. It's 6 months or 1 year kind of a period after the course duration where the lender supposes that you will end up getting a job, right? So 30 months to 36 months for a 2-year course, your EMIs will start, right? Okay, so that is that. Then Archie has a question. Will you be talking about scholarships? Yes, Archie, we will talk about scholarships just in a while. I would take some more questions quickly because there are too many that have gathered up. What is the interest rate? An anonymous attendee. So interest rates may vary basis your profile, basis the college that you're looking to go, basis the program that you're looking to go for. Country to country, it may differ. Profile wise, it might differ. But the good part is if you sign up on our platform, you will exactly get very transparently all the options, 1, 2, 3, 4, 13 options listed out. What is the loan amount? What is the interest rate? What kind of additional costs are you looking at? You can view, compare, all options that are eligible for you, right? But recently there's been a hike by the Reserve Bank of India. There are 4 hikes that have happened, 3 hikes that have happened, and 1 more is due. So interest rates, we are back to pre-pandemic levels. We are looking at, if it's a collateral loan, then between 8 to 9.5% if it's a secured loan. If it is not a secured loan, then you're looking at interest rates, say above 10.5%, right? And that is also very, very rare in nature. It's usually hovering around 11% average, right? This might go up to even 13% if you're not going to such a great college and if your profile overall is not so great. But if your profile is great, you will be on the lower side of the interest rate. So this is largely on interest rates. Prem has a question. Do we have to provide any collateral against the loan? Prem, there are all kinds of loans, secured, unsecured. So there are many options. There are many banks today offering unsecured loans. So no worries about that. Sign up and find out what kind of loans are available to the college that you are choosing to go to. What are the loan terms in terms of repayment period if you have to apply for postgraduate certificate? All right, postgraduate certificate programs are usually a year or less. And like I said, you will have, if you're going for an unsecured option, at least your interest payments, part of interest payments will start from the very first month of taking the loan. If you're going, secured loans are slightly difficult for certificate programs because a lot of banks who offer secured loans do not fund certificate programs, right? Because return on investment and future in Canada is kind of not so guaranteed, right? Okay. Okay, that question is answered. All right, Kush, this question is for you. Is it advisable to go to Canada after doing BBA from India? And BBA, if I'm not wrong, is a 3-year degree, right? What would you have to say to the student?
So if you're like trying to pursue a master's over here, then you talking about my course, what I am doing, we have people from various backgrounds who have done law, who have done humanities, who are there in arts. So everybody is there. So a diverse background is entertained. So if you have done a BBA, it's good enough. But there are like this clause for the duration of undergrad you have done. So for some universities, it is like you should have a 4-year undergrad degree, but they also give an exception if you have a 3-year undergrad degree and you have done SUP, you have a work experience or something. So it can be done that, and if you have done a diploma, that can be addition to, like, it will be considered as a 4-year degree. So that's based on the clause. And also like I think that's pretty much it regarding the clause which they have. And also, like, there is one more point. For master's degree, you should not have more than 2 years of work experience. 0 work experience is also entertained. But if you have 2 or more years of work experience, then they will not like take you for the course. You'll not be eligible. So those are some of the factors which have to be considered, which you need to research about the universities or the colleges and the eligibility they have.
Right. So 4-year undergraduation, 4 years of undergraduation degree for applying for a master's degree in Canada. Otherwise, you may have to look for a diploma program in Canada. Right.
Yeah, and also like a 3-year of undergrad done in India, plus and 1 year of some universities entertain 1 year of work experiences like counted towards it. Or if you have done a diploma, so 3 + 1 works. Great. It's not that if you have like done BB and now you'll think like, how should I apply? You can do a diploma and come here.
Great. Okay. Does GradRight provide funds for living as well, or you just fund for education only? Again, whoever has asked this question, there are loans available covering your tuition as well as living expenses. All right. It's no more the times where you will only get for tuition fee, right? Your living expenses are also covered. Okay. And Tejit, you want to compare University of Windsor versus University of Guelph. For MIM, I would suggest you use our SelectRight platform. Shrikar, if you can drop the link, you will get connected to an advisor there, and they will exactly do that comparison for you. Also help you apply to these universities, mostly for free. Okay. Now, next question is, what will be my length of PGWP if I do 18 months program, 8 months program, one full 1 year program? Please let me know, because I will be going to Canada next year in Jan. I'm not sure if it is 18 months or 8 months program. I think it is 8 months, but would you mind posting your question again, because there is a 1/8, 18, and then there is 1 year. So I'm a little confused.
I think it's 8 months and 1 year degree. So
okay.
For 8 months and 1 year, it is difficult to get a 3-year work permit, but it should be 1 + 1 or a complete 16 months degree from one university or college to get a 3-year work permit.
Hope that helps whoever asked it. All right. What kind of reasons could you state in the statement of purpose for coming back to the home country if your family is planning to move with you to Canada? Good question, whoever's asked it. What do you
have to say a lie to them. You don't have to be so pure towards it.
No, just reiterate yourself, Kush. I didn't get that.
I'm saying you have to speak, you don't have to speak the truth. You have to speak the lie. Just state that you will be coming back. You have your business here. You have to just learn these things and you'll be coming back and applying these things over here. So don't be so honest about it.
Yeah, I think a lot will be spoken of automatically by the kind of college you choose to go to and your academic track record, right? I see students who are very focused in their career will end up doing well in their statement of purpose. Right? All right. Ravi Jha has a big query. I've completed BBA from Bharat Vidyapeeth, Delhi from 1821 batch with 8.2 CGPA from last 1 year. I'm working with an MNC as a research associate, planning for September 23 intake. Could you please suggest some universities in business management marketing field in the budget of 30,000 CAD? Also, if we take 1 year masters, doesn't it increase the chances of PR because we only get 1 year PGWP? Also, kindly share how can we get funding? Thanks and regards. Okay, Ravi, this is a question very, very specific to your profile. I would suggest that you, sign up on our SelectRight platform. We will address it in much detail. There are various aspects of your question that need to be addressed, right? So again, Shrikar, feel free to post the link for SelectRight so that we can address Ravi. And Ravi, we will have your email ID anyways. we'll make sure somebody gets to you on that. Is Canada a good country for MBA? That's a very broad question, but what do you have to say, Kush?
Yeah, it's like we have top business schools over here. Like if you consider Ivy, where I'm studying, it's considered the best university for pursuing an MBA degree. So we have universities over here which like give MBA education, and top business school. If you consider it global ranking also, there are some very good universities for the MBA program. So I believe Canada is a good option if you want to pursue an MBA degree.
Yeah. And I'd just like to add over there, there is Ivy Business School, there is Rotman's, there are some 4 or 5 top business schools in Canada for MBA. You will be spending around somewhere close to 75 lakhs to 80 lakhs. And the consulting sector, the banking sector is huge in Canada. So a lot of opportunity for MBA grads. Do look at Canada as a good option, because I see a lot of folks who have completed some work experience in India choosing these business schools and then wanting to settle down in Canada. Also, Ivy happens to be our university partner, one of the most top league university partners of GradRight. So, go ahead and definitely apply for an MBA in Canada if you're looking at it. Is work experience recommended before going for masters? That was already answered by Kush. 2 years of work experience for a masters is what?
Like 2 years is maximum, but if you don't have any work experience, that's also fine, but not more than 2 years for a master's degree.
All right.
Like some universities entertain more than 2 years, but it's preferred not to have more than 2 years of work experience.
Kush, would that be true for management programs as well? Like say if a student is going for an MBA.
For MBA, you need work experience around 3 to 5 years or more than that.
Yeah, so just have that clarity, guys. Masters in management or a master's program as such is what Kush is referring to. If you're looking to go for an MBA, then 3 or more. In fact, 5 is what is generally seen in students, right? So keep that difference in mind. All right, what if I did BA in economics? Is it possible for me to take MBA in Canada? Again, with work experience, 3 to 5 years is what you should look at. By the way, Mariam, even I'm a BA in economics, so good to know somebody from that background. Is it advisable to move to Canada after 12th or after UG?
So I would like to state it's a whole different experience if you're coming for undergrad over here. So like doing a master's degree is so much of a corporate world, and people are just focusing on getting a job and getting a job secured, and it's like a corporate world. Not much enjoyment, I would say, in a master's degree. But if you are doing an undergrad, you get time. There are these co-op undergrad programs in which you study for a semester, then work for a semester, then study for a semester. That's how it goes on, and you can pay your finances as well. So I would say if you are coming for an experience, like a wide experience, then undergrad is a good option. And if you have those finances for paying a 4 year of undergrad, then undergrad is a good option. But if you don't, if you're like considering the finances and just want to come here and get a job, then master's degree is the right option.
Right. And I'd also want to add to that, undergraduation, say it's going to be 4 years, and the kind of costing that you're looking at and the return on investment that you're looking at, very important to look at these points. Banks are a little reserved in funding loans for undergraduate programs. They largely require a collateral or a very strong financial income cosigner to come over the loan if you're going for education loans for undergraduate programs, right? So just be careful about that. But nevertheless, look at your interests first, what you want to do, what you want to focus in life, and basis that make the decision first. Right now, okay, good one. Any advice on part-time jobs that we can do and how to access these while we study, and how many hours are allowed to work?
So in Canada, on a study permit on the SIN, you can work a maximum of 20 hours. And if you are like getting an admission in a university or college, or wherever you get an admission, The like in compared to US, the in-house campus jobs are less, but it doesn't mean you cannot work outside. There are many opportunities outside the campus. You can work maybe for Tim Hortons or McDonald's, or there are vast jobs, and you can see some online tutoring jobs which are available. So there are various jobs. You can easily get a part-time job, just have to go ahead and drop some resumes here and there, and you can work 20 hours. And some also some people also offer in cash, so you can work extra hours and get cash for that. So that's how it goes on.
Right. So tell us, Kush, did you get onto, an opportunity on off campus while pursuing your master's?
So for my, I would like, I'm pursuing my master's. So when I came here, I had no time. So in my first semester, I had no time at all to focus on anything else other than studies, because it was very hectic. I won't say it was very difficult. It was just very intense for me to manage everything, because for each class I had to prepare something. So it's not that you just go for the exams and study right and there. It's that every day you have to study, every day you have to contribute in the classes, and tell and gain marks every day. So in the first semester I did not. In the second semester I was looking for jobs, and then I had planned to come back to India for a while. So I did not get a part-time job, but currently I'm working part-time.
All right. And what kind of monies are we looking at, Kush? What kind of money a student can earn when they work part-time?
So if you are like working normally at a reception or Tim Hortons or McDonald's, their minimum pay over here is $15 per hour. And if you're like get a good job, good opportunity somewhere a research assistant can get up to $25 per hour, but average is around 20, and like minimum is 15, but 15 to 20 is the range.
All right, 15 to 20 Canadian dollars per hour is what we're looking at. All right. Can the GIC amount be covered along with the bank loan? Yes, Akshita, the GIC can be covered. Living plus tuition is what can be covered for your master's loan. Can you post link of the institute you partnered with? Prem, that's all the partners are listed on our website. Shikhar, please drop the link of the website as well. Is it compulsory to have work experience if I want to pursue MBA after BA? Mariam, yes, it is. Can you go to Canada after? Okay, this we've already answered. Can you please explain the difference between the maximum 2 years work experience and 3 to 5 years experience for MBA? Again, I missed that part. All right.
So maximum 2 years is for master's. MBA is a degree where you need to have a minimum experience of 3 years in most of the universities, and 3 to ideal experience is 5 years or more. Like that's a good profile if you want to like get admitted to an MBA program. But for a master's degree, like master's in management or master's in engineering, all these degrees generally prefer someone who has a 2 year maximum of 2 year experience or lesser.
Right. So 2 years for masters and 3 to 5 years for MBA, preferred 5 years for MBA. All right. So hope that question is answered. Now, there was one question that some anonymous attendee, are you worried because you've signed up for an 8 months program and later you want to do your 1 year one full year program? Don't be worried. See, your journey will just be a little more difficult. I have seen students doing that 8 months and then continue with a 1 year program. Your journey is just going to be a little more difficult. Okay, so don't get worried. There are solutions to everything. If just sign up on a platform and talk to an advisor, say what they have to say. Funding is still possible for an 8 month program, and then later on you can also apply for a 1 year additional program, right? So don't be worried. All right. We have answered most of the questions. Okay. There is Archie, coming back to your question about scholarships very quickly. Kush, what do you have to talk about scholarships for studying in Canada?
So like I can talk about the universities a little more. So for the universities, you are eligible for a scholarship with your profile. So when you apply for the universities with your resume and all, you have to just tick on an option for scholarships. And if you have a good profile, you get a scholarship. And if you are like, go ahead and you can like go towards negotiating also, you can ask and send emails to the right persons from those universities and give them a good reason behind what is going on, and they might increase the scholarship for you. And there are other add-on scholarships which are available outside the universities as well, which you have to search on the web and apply for it. So in some places you have to write essays, and there are various things which are available. You have to work for them for a while. So a few things are there with which you can get scholarships.
All right. I'll just add to that. So for everyone, scholarship is an amount that literally comes for free. All right. And therefore, the scholarships come with a little bit of hard work, which means that any entity or any organization that is looking to give you a scholarship will look at your academic metrics and also your financial need, right? Why you need that money. So say, for example, there are two students who are academically equally bright, but then one of them is well off. The other one is actually the one who really needs some additional funding, right? So they will prefer the second one who actually needs additional funds because maybe their economic background is not so well off, right? So academic metrics plus financial need is what a lot of organizations look at while considering a student for scholarships, right? And the hard work around it will be like how you apply to a college. They look at your test scores, your undergraduation scores, your work experience, your overall academic profile. These entities will also look at that. Plus, they may also ask a statement of purpose, an essay, why you need this scholarship and what is what you're passionate about and how is your future going to look like. All right. Also, these scholarships may sometimes have strings attached to them. Say, for example, an X organization funds you for a scholarship. They may want you to work for them or contribute to them in some or the other way, right? And these scholarships, the prestigious awards, may involve writing tests like GRE, GMAT, may involve great academics all throughout. They may involve a statement of purpose in 400, 500 words. They may involve an online test, and they may also call you for a personal interview, right? Now that no COVID is there. So it can be tough. Scholarships don't come with guarantee. While you may be eligible, there are only a handful of students who will get a scholarship. But a good news is GradRight has many scholarships that we fund on our own. Small amounts, maybe around 1 to 3 lakhs. So if you are applying for a loan through GradRight, you will become eligible for all these scholarships. But again, a handful of them will get these scholarships. We have scholarships for women empowerment. We have LGBTQ scholarships. We have some scholarships which we tie up with lenders, an amount of $5,000, 4 awards of $5,000. So every season we change these scholarships. So please, another reason why you would want to go through a loan through GradRight, because you never know, you could be the lucky one to get a scholarship, right? Multiple awards are there. All right, so Archie, that was on scholarship for you. Before we end, we're almost at 8:27. Shikhar, could you run the exit poll? All right, so this is where you rate us. We'll improve basis what results we see. I have 2 more questions. Okay, are there any colleges in India that have a tie-up with Canada? I'm sorry, I don't have an answer to that. And I mean, that will be a mixed degree I'm looking at, not so fundable as well. An offer letter, it's written 1 academic year, period of 8 months. Will this be considered 1 year program or 8 months? It will be considered as an 8 months program, which means 8 months of post-study work permit. All right. Kush, I think we are towards the end of it. Thank you so much. But before we end, would you want to share, 2 or 3 fun facts about being in Canada?
I would just say, like, coming over here, all the winters are like good for you if you are like just experiencing it for the first time, but it's a little harsh. You're just scared when you experience the summer year over here, you are scared of to again face those winters again. But any other fun fact, I would say like it's a nice place, and you have a lot of places around which you can explore, and it's very beautiful. And I don't remember any other fun fact to be.
Okay, I would say
I like
clean
it.
air is what Canada really offers, especially in the summers. I think right now it's summers.
Summers are
Yeah.
beautiful. It's just a hell of an experience to just go out on a walk and you just feel the refreshing air and you are energized with it. And the sun is out till 9 p.m. in the night, and you just have such a long day, and you can like do so much of work in that.
All right. Thank you, Kush, for being there today, and thank you everyone for spending this time on the Thursday evening. Hope all of you all get your admits very soon and you make it to Canada. But please do use our services for admissions on SelectRight and finances on FundRight. And I hope I get to speak to some of you when you come for our services. All right, I'll be eagerly waiting. Thank you so much. Good night.